how do we sort of conceptualize subsection 2 of section 6A and subsection 3?
All right.
Subsection 2 deals with people who are in the electoral roll as on 1/1/1966.
Right.
They're all post 1951 people,
Right.
but who are in the electoral roll as of 1/1/66. Right. That's why subsection 2 refers to the electoral roll of 1/1/66, 66 electoral roll.
Right.
The subsection 3 covers people who are not in the electoral roll of 1966.
Correct.
They came in later until 71.
Correct.
So what was the reason for protecting those whom they protected first in subsection 2? Was it that Parliament wanted to protect people who are now they've come on the electoral roll as on 1/1/66? So we say, all right, you have now been assimilated. We have already, whether you are legal, illegal, we sort of make a blanket conferment of citizenship. What was why these two bifurcations into subsection 2 and subsection 3?
I will try and answer that, Malad. There are two reasons for it. Number one, even those whose names were in the electoral roll, people objected to them. People objected to them, saying they got themselves into the electoral roll. They did not come here prior to 1966. That's why the whole NRC exercise has taken place. And at the end of the NRC exercise, do you know what the result is? Your Lordship asked that question, they should have told you the answer. The answer is, today there are 19.06 lakh people who are left out of and whose appeals are pending. That's all. And the majority of them are Hindus. So it's not as if nothing happened after 71. This exercise has been done and done in 8 years, Mulaj. That's why Justice Gogoi said, everybody will have to produce the legacy tree, legacy data. Who was your great-grandfather? Even those whose names were on the electoral roll. So in the NRC, every citizen, every person in Assam had to face the test. So in fact, from a statutory standpoint, what my lord is saying is right. From the actual standpoint, it's just the other way around. Because there were thousands of objections. Well, somebody didn't have a school certificate. Well, who gave a school certificate at that point in time? Then you had to show, no, my great-grandfather lived in that village. Then there had to be a linkage document. Then you had to produce somebody from a nearby village or the village in which you lived. And he came and made a statement, no, his grandfather was living there. So, Malaj, it may be as a matter of law for you to say that's not factually correct. Well, the whole NRC exercise was that all this may be wrong. And it was monitored by this court. And it ultimately found that the majority of the 19 lakhs were Hindus. 1,600 crores was spent in that exercise. So the point that I'm making is, Malaj, while your lordships asked me that question, the factual situation is in fact just the opposite. Because I don't want to bring any politics into it, because everybody objected to a particular, that he doesn't belong here. Of course, that exercise is still going on. But Malaj, therefore, it would be dangerous, and this is my respectful submission, to move into areas where it's difficult to come to a judicial determination. That's why 6A was a matter of policy. It was legislative policy pursuant to a political accord which sought to maintain a status quo subject to processes for those who came between 66 and 71. And if they do not formulate how 29 has been violated, why would your lordships go into it? So, that's really the answer to your lordship's question. That everybody was questioned. It just so happened that once you're in the electoral roll, then you have a leg to stand on. But that was not the end of the story. It's not as if everybody who was on the electoral roll was accepted as a citizen. And then, the argument that they owed allegiance to Pakistan, I don't understand that argument at all, Malaj. When I am born, Malaj, do I have an oath of allegiance to give? Or if somebody is granted citizenship, people don't give oath of allegiance. When people came from what?
The upheaval, actually, as a matter of history, when did the upheaval start taking place in East Pakistan?
Upheaval started taking place in East?
No. The 66, I'm talking about the leading up to Bangladesh.
His Lordship knows, after the Bhutto election in particular, but the fact of the matter is that those belonged to an entirely different cultural tradition. This was all part of Bengal, Malaj. This is East Bengal and West Bengal. So all this is the oppressive policies of Western Pakistan, so to say, or now Pakistan, right? And what is happening there to the Hindus today was sought to be done to the Bengalis. It's as simple as that. Who would want to stay there? But the impact of it, because they came this side, the impact of it was what happened in Assam later. But it's bound to limit resources. They were claiming that their education should be free. And then what happened? The tea plant, see, the tea planters came here much before 1951.
You know, Operation Searchlight is initiated by General Yahya Khan on the 25th of March.
Yes.
Now, interestingly, Section 6A, 25th of March 1971 is not the commencement of the provision. It's the end of the provision.
End of the provision. Yes,
right?
Yes.
So, if at all, one would anticipate that the influx would take place around or after 25th of March 1971.
It didn't.
What the statute does is to go back 5 years to 66, 1166.
Yes.
What is the reason for that 1166?
As I told you, by 66 because of the electoral roll. After that,
the electoral roll of 1166, which was used for conducting the elections of 67, covered all those people who had entered India prior to 1166.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That is covered by 6A2.
Yes.
Just see how it is. I'll just tell you how 6A is worded. 6A2. All persons of Indian origin who came before the 1st of January 66 to Assam from the specified territory, now bracket, very important, including such of those whose names were included in the electoral rules for the purpose of the general election to the House of the People held in 1967.
Correct.
That is to say, the 1967 election was held on the basis of the electoral roll of 1166.
Correct. Yes.
That covered people who had come in prior to 1166.
Not necessarily, people may have come prior, but they may not be in the electoral roll.
You're right. I'm not talking the exclusion.
Yes.
But 6A2 covers people post 1166.
Yes.
Right? I can understand 6A2. 6A2 says, whoever now we have included in our electoral roll, we'll give them citizenship. Therefore, anybody whose name was in the electoral roll of 1166 got the benefit of citizenship, but under which provision? Under 6A2.
Yes.
Now, what is the logic for 6A3?
But I'm saying, many people who had come in even earlier, but they had no evidence to show. There are many people who came in earlier. No. The war is later. War is not then. It's 65 war happened.
6A2 you cannot justify on the ground of the Bangladesh liberation.
No, I'm not. There is a Pakistan war, Indo-Pak war of 65. The election took place in East Pakistan. Mujibur Rahman won. There was unleashing of violence. He was not allowed to be sworn in. That's what happened.
70.
Yes, in December 70. That's the violence that happened. He was not allowed to be sworn in.
So that is 3 months before our cutoff.
That's why, that's precisely why I'm saying, that 3 months has been also excluded, as your Lordship sees now, from March onwards. Therefore, it has nothing to do. This exodus didn't happen from East Pakistan or Bangladesh at that point in time. This is all prior.
I mean, there's one way of dealing with it, which is that Parliament has legislative domain over what cutoff date to adopt.
That, of course.
Unless the cutoff date is palpably arbitrary.
That's correct.
You normally allow Parliament.
But apart from that,
I mean, that can always be a judicial mantra, but we are trying to figure out what was the logic.
But it's not just a cutoff date. It is to prove your residence.
Sorry?
It's not. Said a person who got 17% of the 2% vote, won the election. So that was rejected by the people. So it was, but the 66 onwards, you had to show evidence that you were resident for 10 years.
All right, Mr. Sibal.
So therefore, that's over.
Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I just want to. And therefore, there are only two aspects: the date and the territory. The tea plantations, the traders came much earlier. So the date and the territory are the two aspects, which are considered. I'm deeply obliged.
Thank you, Mr. Sibal. Yes, Ms. Jai Singh.
No, my lord is only confining to 6A. Why are you worried? They were worried they'll go beyond 6. Of course not. We haven't argued that.
No, we are very clear in our mind. We have not heard the